Joel Finkelstein uses machine learning to analyze Boogaloo comments on message boards like 4chan. He says the Boogaloo mythology exists in two spheres. One pushes racist messaging, the other distinctly avoids it.
The myth has a lot of diversity in terms of the kinds of elements it can attract to it. K is a board on 4chan for weapon enthusiasts and militia enthusiasts, but it isn't thought of as a kind of racist community inherently. You have discussions of bandits, ambushes, gunfights, whereas in places like 4chan's politically incorrect message board or poll, here you have people who are far more motivated by identity politics and racism. And right next to the term Boogaloo, you have the appearance of race war, you have Rahawa, the holy race war. So these are really very different strands of activity. And we can see that in some sense, it's like the virus mutates from community to community. It has slightly different features. Does that make sense?
The problem with the Boogaloo Boys is they're not a cohesive movement. You can have Boogaloo Boys that are white supremacists and want to harm the George Floyd protesters. You can also have Boogaloo Boys, and this is actually the larger group, that are anti-police, not racist, and they are siding with the protesters.
JJ McNabb is one of the top experts on anti-government extremism in the country and recently testified in front of the House Homeland Security Committee.
So just being able to see the Hawaiian shirt, you can't really prejudge why that person's there and what they want to accomplish.
And given its lack of clear ideology, researchers are concerned that the Boogaloo movement can encompass anyone with an anti-government gripe, no matter how dangerous.
Can you give us an idea of scale? How many people are a part of this movement?
I don't know. On Facebook alone, within 4 days, we built a group of 67,000 members.
Holy shit.
Within 4 days. We say that it got Zuckerberg, when it gets shut down because of association with the Boogaloo movement.
That's been happening a lot lately.
Yes.
In fact, Mike told us that a week after this interview, he got sucked. When he tried to create a new profile, he got sucked again and again. Mark Zuckerberg is cracking down amid mounting pressure. So the Boogaloo Boys have to get creative in order to stay online. One way they do that is to pretend to be media, because they know Facebook won't shut down those pages.
They've also started using Vice News for the groups that they mimic. And because they have a fiesta theme, they've taken the Vice logo and put tacos over it.
I mean, to be fair, I like what they've done with our logo.
Yes. Well, who doesn't like tacos? There's a whole lot of jargon in here that's very specific to this movement. So when the broadcast starts means when the war starts, or the Boogaloo, and your news crew, meaning you and your fellow Boogaloo supporters, decide to hit the local Nasty Girl armory, armory meaning weaponry.
The guys though who are looking at this stuff, they know
exactly what it means.
Wow.
Even if the language wasn't coded, Facebook leaves it up to group moderators to flag, which often they don't. But what Facebook does do isn't much better.
If we look at Facebook's suggested groups, this Newsboys group, this is a Boogaloo group. And it's telling me because I recently viewed the Vice Journalism Boogaloo group that I just showed you. Facebook is handing you a buffet of content that's going to further radicalize someone that could potentially be dangerous.